The German Shepherd wouldn't move. For 3 days, he sat outside room 237 at Walter Reed Medical Center, his massive frame blocking half the corridor. Security tried everything: treats, commands, even calling animal control. But Max wouldn't budge, not until the night shift nurse noticed something on his collar that made her drop her clipboard. Welcome to DogVision TV. Before we begin this incredible story of loyalty that shocked an entire military hospital, tell me, from which city are you watching today? And if you believe the bond between military dogs and their handlers is unbreakable, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. November 15th, 0600 hours. Nurse Patricia Williams had worked at Walter Reed for 15 years. She'd seen everything: wounded warriors, grieving families, miraculous recoveries. But she'd never seen this. A 95-pound German Shepherd, sitting perfectly still outside a patient room, his tactical vest dusty and worn, his eyes fixed on the door like he was still on watch. "How long has he been here?" Patricia asked the security guard. 3 days, ma'am." Showed up Monday morning. Won't eat, barely drinks, just waits. The dog's name tag read M.D. Max, 3rd Infantry, military working dog. But there was no handler in sight. The hospital administrator was getting frustrated. "This is a sterile environment," he insisted. "We can't have a stray dog blocking patient corridors." "He's not stray," Patricia corrected, kneeling beside Max. "Look at his vest." "This is a war dog." She tried to check his collar for contact information, but Max pulled back slightly, not aggressive, just protective of something. Animal control arrived that afternoon. The officer, a young man named Derek, approached with a catch pole. "I wouldn't do that," warned Master Sergeant Torres, who was passing by on crutches. "That's a military working dog. You touch him wrong, you'll lose fingers." Derek hesitated. "Then what do we do?" Torres lowered himself painfully to the floor, his prosthetic leg clicking against the tile. He looked Max in the eyes, warrior to warrior. "Who you waiting for, buddy?" he whispered. Max's tail twitched once, the first movement in hours. But his eyes never left the door. That night, Patricia couldn't stop thinking about the dog. At 2 a.m., during her rounds, she found Max still there. But now, in the quiet darkness, she heard something, a soft whimper. Not from the dog, from inside room 237. She checked her charts. Room 237, John Davidson, 28, traumatic brain injury, comatose for 2 weeks. No visitors listed. Patricia opened the door quietly. The patient lay still, connected to monitors. But as she entered, Max stood, for the first time in days. "You know him, don't you?" she whispered. Max moved toward the bed, each step deliberate, controlled. Military precision, even in his desperation. That's when Patricia saw it clearly. His collar had twisted, revealing something hidden beneath his tags. It wasn't just a collar. Attached to it was a small, weatherproof pouch. Inside, a folded paper sealed in plastic. Patricia's hands trembled as she read, "If found, I belong to Sergeant John Davidson, 3rd Infantry Division. We served together in Afghanistan, 2019 to 2023. He saved my life. Now it's my turn. Please don't separate us. Max." Below it, a photo. Davidson in full combat gear, Max beside him, both covered in dust, both smiling despite the hell around them. Patricia looked at the patient chart again. No one had made the connection. Davidson had been admitted as a John Doe after a motorcycle accident. His military ID was destroyed in the crash. Max had tracked him down across the entire city through 3 hospitals, following a scent trail that was 2 weeks old. Patricia made a decision that could cost her job. She opened the door wider. "Come on, Max. He needs you." Max didn't hesitate. He moved to Davidson's bedside, carefully avoiding the medical equipment. Then, with infinite gentleness, he placed his massive head on the bed, his nose touching Davidson's hand. The heart monitor flickered. Davidson's pulse increased slightly. "That's impossible," Patricia breathed. "Coma patients don't—" Max began to whine softly, a sound that seemed to come from his soul. He licked Davidson's fingers once, twice. The fingers twitched. Patricia hit the call button. "I need a doctor in 237, now." Dr. Martinez arrived within minutes, expecting an emergency. Instead, he found a dog beside a coma patient and vital signs that didn't make sense. "His brain activity is spiking," Dr. Martinez said, studying the monitors. "This is unprecedented." Max continued his soft whining, occasionally nudging Davidson's hand with his nose. Each touch seemed to generate a response on the monitors. "There's research about familiar voices helping coma patients," Dr. Martinez murmured. "But a dog?" "Not just a dog," Patricia said, showing him the note. "His partner." Word spread quickly through the hospital. By morning, Colonel Sarah Mitchell from the K-9 unit arrived. "Max went AWOL 2 weeks ago," she explained. "Same day Davidson was admitted. We searched everywhere." She studied the pair, man and dog, reunited against all odds. In Afghanistan, these two were legendary. Max detected over 40 IEDs. Davidson refused evac 3 times to stay with his dog. They saved an entire platoon in Kandahar. The hospital administrator, the same one who wanted Max removed, stood in the doorway. "This is still against regulations. It's Colonel Mitchell turned, her expression steel. "Sir, this dog traveled 50 miles through city traffic to find his handler. He hasn't eaten in 3 days. If you want to separate them, you'll need to go through the entire United States Army K-9 Corps, and me personally." The administrator retreated. For 5 more days, Max stayed. Patricia bent rules to bring him food and water. Other patients would wheel themselves by just to see the loyal dog who wouldn't abandon his post. Then on day 8, it happened. Max suddenly stood, his tail wagging for the first time. He barked once, sharp, clear, military. Davidson's eyes were open. "Max." The word was barely a whisper, hoarse from weeks of silence. The German shepherd's response was immediate. He placed his paws carefully on the bed, leaning in to lick Davidson's face, his entire body shaking with joy. "Hey, buddy," Davidson croaked, his hand finding Max's fur. "You found me." The medical staff stood frozen, witnessing something beyond science, beyond explanation. Pure loyalty had done what medicine couldn't. Later, as Davidson grew stronger, he explained what he remembered. "I couldn't see anything, couldn't move, but I heard him. Every whine, every breath. It was like he was calling me back." Dr. Martinez documented everything. This case would change how they treated coma patients. "The emotional bond," he explained to colleagues, "triggered responses we don't fully understand. The familiar scent, the sounds, the physical presence, it all contributed to his recovery." But Patricia knew better. It wasn't science, it was love. 2 months later, Davidson walked out of Walter Reed. Max walked beside him, head high, alert as always. But they left something behind. Change. Walter Reed became the first military hospital to officially allow military working dogs to visit their injured handlers. They called it the Max Protocol. The administrator, who had wanted Max removed, he personally donated $10,000 to the Military Working Dog Retirement Fund. Today, John Davidson and Max live on a quiet farm in Montana. Davidson still struggles with his injuries, but Max is always there, watching, protecting, loving. The collar that revealed their bond? It's framed in Walter Reed's entrance with a plaque that reads, "Loyalty knows no regulations. Love knows no boundaries." Sometimes the best medicine has 4 legs and a tail. Because Max didn't just refuse to leave a hospital room, he refused to let his best friend leave this world. Some bonds can't be broken by war, by injury, or by bureaucracy. They can only be strengthened. So I ask you, have you ever witnessed loyalty like this? Share your story in the comments. Let the world know that love comes in all forms. And if this story touched your heart, subscribe to DogVision TV. We tell the stories that matter, where human courage meets animal devotion. Until next time, remember, heroes come in all shapes, sizes, and species. Sometimes they even have 4 legs and a wet nose.